1998, this shit fire.
Mic check. Check mic, how it reflect light. Flights. I created my emotion.
Best rapper alive. The best rapper alive. Don't reflect light and don't walk on water. Walk on light.
Check mic, how it reflect light. Flights. I created my emotions, got a new persona. You never seen a star until you seen a supernova. I don't understand shit cause I flew up over. Got my foot around your neck, I don't approve of chokers. Look at me, bitch, I am more than a thing. Fuck Satan, nigga, I'm the lord of the rings. Top of Youngstown, a toy, getting serious. I just hope you get the point like a period. Yeah, I'ma bring the motherfucker thunder down. My mind been running off this chaos, need some structure now. Up in my own world, and I never thought of coming down. And that's the reason why I never like to come around. I got some demons that's around me that like to show off. Taking shapes and forms throughout the smoke fog. Why you motherfuckers really think you know God? I'm a malefic, stopping all water flows like I'm a Pacific. The river had it down, Mary had a lamb. That mean you have to take care of your obstacles. Life will leave you dripping like a popsicle. Reality done changed. I'm hoping that the balance just remains. The pilot man got back up in his plane. Magic in the brain. The shit that you imagine is the same. At least it's using Saturn in the vein. I'm the GOAT, nigga. I created my emotions, got a new persona. You never seen a star until you seen a supernova. I don't understand shit cause I flew above it. Got my foot around your neck, I don't approve of chokers. Look at me, bitch, I'm more than a thing. Fuck the same nigga, I'm the lord of the rings. Top of Youngstown, I'm totally getting serious. I just hope you get the point like a period. It's the pilot man, so you know I'm flying around. I'm a planet, so you know I'm changing climates now. Change your life, bitch, go wait and look, the time is now. I run the game, I ain't even have to run a mile. For the money, man, don't make me have to run it down. Flight boss, motherfucker, I ain't coming down. Ask me where the people die, I ask you what about it, what about? Everybody in the physical, man, you showing people boundaries, how far their limits go. To the pinnacle, doing rituals, yeah, spells getting cast out. And now you niggas assed out. He done pop so many pills, let's hope he don't pass out. To leave this land, they be taking fast routes. This is a marriage and it ain't no better thing. Saturn is exalted and Libra, you need a wedding ring. The woman is the tail, the man is the head. So many secrets I gave, pilot man is condemned. You think you hard, but you ain't still. I'm just being realistic, you ain't real. I created my emotions, got a new persona. You never seen a star until you seen a supernova. I don't understand shit cause I flew up over. Got my foot around your neck, I don't approve of chokers. Look at me, bitch, I am more than a thing. Fuck a second nigga, I'm the lord of the rings. Top of Youngstown, a toy, getting serious. I just hope you get the point like a period.
Like a period. Where the best minds in the galaxy came from. Right here in Ohio. Best minds in the minute. Be prepared, not for my stuff, but other people's stuff too, that y'all gonna see very soon. Without further. Now, we're gonna get into moon going into Capricorn as we prepare to go into the new moon. You know what I'm saying? Because this, this is where the aviators come from and stuff like that. This is where the railroad first started getting constructed at and stuff like that. This is where first minerals and stuff, first deers, raccoons, possums was getting chopped down for Archangel Uriel to have a nice coat. You know what I'm saying? A nice coat. Oh, said get a little salt, lemon, lime over here, get a little salt over there and stuff. Get a little beaver pelpit over here, get your little trinklet over there. You know what I'm saying? We setting up shop. We setting up shop now. Y'all said don't stop nobody's flow. Don't stop nobody's water. And all further than that, we got to talk about it. Moon in Capricorn. What do that mean? Business, structure, foundation, organizing. You know what I'm saying? Entrepreneurship, building qualities with other individuals. How you can substantiate yourself. How you can rise to the top. Maybe it could be the pinnacle. Maybe it'd be a tower moment. Maybe it fall and crumble. Now, what it's going to look like? It's going to look like the sun being in Aquarius. It's going to be filtered through the way you think on your fixated nature, the way you communicate on your fixated nature, and how it gets filtered out, aka your associations, what you are associating yourself with, how you are perceived through the public arena. Remind you, when the sun is in a pocket of Aquarius, it represents distance because we know the starting of the year is spring. So you have to change your frame of thought so you can be into the natural paradigm so you can understand what we're calculating and the essence and the minerals and stuff like that. So we can look at it physically, not just metaphysically, and have that parable between philosophy and our anatomy when it comes to our physical. But for the most part, you could see social events happen that play out where even an animal or a bug have to be more distance to the things that they was relative to doing during the times that it may be warm or it ain't raining on a small percentage scale of experiencing fall and winter, even when it ain't fall and winter, because we got this small percentage scale playing out everywhere from a larger percentage scale. So everything is kind of compartmentalized and chopped up to have its own specific way of playing out, still from the essence of the overall aspect of its playing out. So we can see even things like otters and other aspects and stuff like that have more of a social quality. Before we start to talk about communication, we're talking about it as not doing the things that's familiar as when you was doing when you was in a more comfort zone, such as spring and summer. Then once they get into fall and winter, the sun in that pocket creates those results here, and those results here allow us to play those actions out. And if you could get lost without understanding the mechanism mentally, then it play out physically. You could just be interacting physically, and they be like, hey, science. And then for the most part, forgot that science is about metaphysics. Then we try to attach physical attributes to it to make terms, and then that's how you could get lost in philosophy and parables and science and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, we see more things within nature playing out in distance and communication. When it comes out in more distance from the sun, so it start to make replicas of snow and things of that nature, that represents a form of distance. And from you or animals having to do things in distance, even if you're in the same location, there may be things you do at the beginning of the year that's already there beyond you, which you think is a beginning, and you're beginning to have to wear a coat and different than what you're familiar with at the beginning of the year, when at the beginning of the year represents not having to wear a coat. So for the most part, you're doing something indistant or unfamiliar to what's familiar or what's closer to the sense of familiarity. So for the most part, that's how to look at morality being constructed before we see it in a manner of using it just for lenses of justice, using it just for lenses of what we're creating our morality. Our terms and conditions amongst each other and stuff like that. And once you get that in your mind or whatever, now your mind is in the right mind frame of what I'm getting ready to break down. So as the energy, now you can see it in two layers. You can see it as how we describe it amongst each other, but now you can also see it as it being felt in an actual experience. So you could separate that term pseudo and be like, this is the time I need to get my 1-2 together also, because if I don't, whatever I'm associated with as the moon going to the new moon in Aquarius, that's going to get changed, and I'm going to be on the negative side of energy, where I'm going to have to second question everybody I'm associated with as people who wasn't standing on business, people who made my business look bad, people who make me feel like I'm guilty by association, whatever the case may be. So these are just other attributes to understand the human psyche. So when you get yourself together or whatever the case, and you do it, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. You could do it in any scenario within your life, but as you do it, for the most part, you end up on the right side of energy, aka you don't experience so much negative or mistakes, or how y'all could go back in y'all previous times and think that you made a mistake with made you end up in a halfway house. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this crease out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and when you don't look at that from that nature and stuff, you don't be knowing other areas of why you make certain decisions just because it's not right in front of you or it ain't in a book. And you need to know what's in a book is developed from these things. And for the most part, that's not necessary. Pardon me. That's not necessarily saying not look in a book. It's just saying that's a starting reference from what you get ready to experience, so you don't go through it as harsh or whatever, because someone have went through it before you. Other than that, that's as far as it needs to go in your mind. Or you ain't gonna develop your own expertise. You ain't gonna develop your own curriculum or however the case. And we in a time right now where everybody need to be something. You need to be that next individual on whatever the case it may be, whether it's a billboard to whatever you broadcasting and auditioning for. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you are auditioning for. So before we even get into it, like I said, we got the moon going into Capricorn. I just want to get y'all mind right and stuff, and we leading up to the new moon. So if y'all don't know, the moon represents its tide. It's like a motion to your emotional tides or whatever the case may be. However, now whether you want to believe that or not, you're going to experience this in your life. You're going to experience some having a second question or however the case may be when it comes to who you are associated with. And right now, you're already going to be feeling the energy once I'm getting ready to break this down as the moon in Capricorn. And if you're not going about this energy the right way, whether you like the word Capricorn or not, just the sun being in that, the moon being in that position. The moon is in a position that the sun is in when it start to initiate what we call winter time or whatever the case may be. So we ain't gonna see those physical interactions and the way our anatomy react at no other time of the year or whatever. Okay, that's first. Now, whatever credence or praise you give to it is another attribute. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get to some age of enlightenment concept or whatever, this is where we get into Saturnalia, right? So for the most part, here's the thing. A person to be like, oh, that's pseudo, right? But everybody's science is pseudo to a certain degree. Because if you watch Superman, you know Superman come from Krypton and you know it's ice cold or whatever the case may be. So when you think about ice or whatever, or you think about Saturn warship, it ain't talking about the planet or a satellite that's there, that's made up. It's talking about the sun when it's there, and we make allegories when the sun ain't there, and we can play out those representations on Earth. So when people plan out cold energies or making movies like Superman, you need to know it's another allegory how we've been making allegories about the sun and moon. But when the sun is in a position of what we're calling Capricorn or whatever the case may be, it's just another title for another name of or time. A time. It's like a clock. It's just another term for time. So at that particular time, the sun in that position creates the Saturn sun that creates the snow or creates the winter time, even if you're in a geographical location that it doesn't snow as much or whatever. But now you know the starting points of what people creating parables and allegories off of in all magnitudes when it comes to business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. Not just y'all forms of debate or circumstances and things of that nature that y'all still flunked out in. You know what I'm saying? But until you rise your comprehension up a little bit, then you really can have real slick, witty banter. Just don't be sounding like somebody that's crashed out or lost in their demon and emotion. You know what I'm saying? And not building your own curriculum or your creativity in some way that be able to match or back and support the things that's coming out your mouth that gives it validity, not the actual stuff that gives us loss when we start to say, I got a badge, I got a title, I got a PhD or whatever the case. And I thought y'all was listening to Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? Get your T-Steam game up. Get your T-Steam game up. Things of that nature. Release some toxins. Because a lot of these toxins be the retarded thought forms y'all be having. Those be having a hard time to find his way out other than y'all mouth sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times get your T-Steam game up. Retarded thoughts will find another way of releasing. Oh, I'm saying real. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it 100. It's good, too. I did that one just right. It's about sugar. Oh, so it's about almond milk. So put a little bit of cinnamon spice in it. Look at the little cinnamon. Cinnamon on the top. Oh, saying the T-Steve game up. T-Steve game up. You know what I'm saying? But look, check it out. Okay, yeah, we're 12 minutes in. So like I said, when we start talking about the moon being in Capricorn and it's taking us right into the new moon, right? Now, here's the thing. So that energy that the sun be in when it's in Capricorn, the moon is there. So it's making us react and respond to that. So it's dealing with the emotional state, the world that we are in. So you might be building, blocking, or a little Billy Bob head or whatever the case, Bob the Builder head, or you might be in a situation where it's a tower moment. But in the formation of our emotional stance. Now, based upon your sun, moon, or ascendant, it's going to be dependent on if it's squared, 90-degree angle, sextile, 60-degree angle, whatever the case may be, to let you know if it's actually aligning or not, and if you could go about something or if you can't go about it the right way. But we all got to go about it in a certain way for us to, reach the right side of the energy and things to be more in our favor, not us being seen as making a mistake and we can't find where the mistake at. So we just think, oh, well, maybe I ain't say something right, or maybe I ain't express something right. No, maybe you just ain't sensitive to the senses and you don't know how to calculate what's the happening. There's a happening going on. Just like the clouds get ready to condense and rain, that's a happening. But since it's so normified in your mind, you want to just say, oh, that's in the spiritual backseat, or that's in the mental backseat, or that's the scientifical backseat, because we already know about it. So that don't got nothing to do with what I'm getting ready to talk about. And last time I checked, people like you get lost into thinking water is wet. Not the thing that objects that's not water, when water get on objects that's not water, that's why we created the word wet. Object that's not water having water on it, that's what's considered wet. So for the most part, people get retarded when they don't understand comprehension. Then they try to tie it in their intelligence and stuff like that and get their little spiritual little booty whipped. No, get your little, I like that little green little thing on the algorithm page. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be a bunch of Terrence Howard scholars. Oh, so much of Terrence Howard scholars and stuff like, y'all be doing that. Y'all know that. Now y'all know that. Oh, say shout out to Trick Daddy. Haitian. Shout out all my ethnic groups. You know what I'm saying? We're Big Mountain Talk. We all family. We all family over here. We all out to roast each other, everything now. We all family over here in America. No, I'm saying you better believe it. And y'all little funky 15%, y'all better stop acting like it. Like y'all ain't got people in y'all family that ain't got horny and stuff like that. And come right on with us. Stop acting like that. You know what I'm saying? Stop acting like that. Y'all be acting weird and stuff like I'm tired of hearing about what y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? Let's get right. Let's get to the money. Let's not catch no federal offenses on that plane. The thought pattern Dolo be talking about, not no stuff y'all be talking about rappers. But yeah, if you want to talk about that, let's get back to this money and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Because we riding that flight, everybody's supposed to keep their hands to themselves, think right and stuff like that, be calm, cool, collected. If the ride too long, go to sleep for a little bit with the pillow, however the case may be. But when we riding that flight, we esoterically traveling. You better believe it. You know what I'm saying? So when we start talking about the moon, right, it's making us react or respond to that cardinal earth, initiating and create new ways of how to think and be practical. Now, it might be a little harsh, and this is where that harsh energy, and you might take things harder than what it actually needs to be taken in, due to the fact of the moon is debilitated in Capricorn by default. And if you got Capricorn in your chart, you may start to experience those energies and make you feel like you have to do a little more than you was normally doing or whatever, which built pressure. And a lot of times people be going through like a overall phase of that when they start to reach, pardon me, y'all, late 27, once they 27 and it get like late, you get ready to be 28, 29, then anything that you start to do in that type of mind frame start to accumulate. Then you start to experience that through the filtering system of people, places, and things, and circumstances and situations by the age of 29, 30, 31, 32, and then you're left to deal with all that, but you actually become whatever that new diamond that you're supposed to be through that new shift, because we are all spiritually expanding by default. So keep that in mind too. We all raising up. It's just people raise up slower than others, or people expand slower than others. So that's why the others who expand faster than others always come back through the washing machine cycle through forms of filtering systems of what we call creativity or comprehension. And then once everybody start to use their mind to condense, to be moving in that way physically, it slowly but surely become an expansion or new artillery or new or a more sufficient way of utilizing the organs. Then once we do that, you know what I'm saying, the next 70, 100 to 200 years, you start to evolve a little bit. And so you become whatever y'all talk about, hominids to Homo sapiens or whatever the case may be. It's like that. It's an evolutionary experience you have as a whole. But we raised each other up by the washing machine cycle. So this is why so many civilizations, such as my lineage, talk about things that have been remixed and called the word reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? But it's really just a cycle of life. You know what I'm saying? Springtime, wintertime, spring again. Not just that, you see the things where that bush deteriorated at wintertime and it grew back in your yard spring again, or whatever the case may be. So if you know we see those instances beyond physical, and we see it in light condensing to become cloud and water, then you know that your mind is more attached to that play out through the same mechanism and procedure, becoming fleshly fluids. And so the mind condense and become fleshly fluid, like the light condense and become cloud, condense and become scattered out rain, and that become condensed as through the air to smaller forms of rain, that be the spermacide, that plant what we are considering the seeds that plant the bushes and the trees that y'all don't know where it come from, that we just make GMO versions of to mimic. And now we got palm trees. Now we got concrete jungles and stuff called New York City Taft Projects up the street from the Martin Luther King 126th Street. 126th Street. Right up on 106th Street. Oh, one of those streets. What 106 outside versions of jail cells. And all that. That you got to pay about $2,500 to even stay on. Lord Jesus Christ. If any protest, it should be about that. If you stay in New York City, the living conditions and stuff, and why is this high? We got to live like this. We got to live in like 4 corners box where the kitchen and the bedroom and the closet is in the same room and stuff like that. And we paying $2,500, $3,500 or whatever the case may be. And we got to stay next to these roaches and rats and these teenage mutant ninja birds and stuff like that sound like men when they start talking. It's like, oh, listen. Only protest we about to do is this about to be $200 a month. That's it. If y'all ain't doing that, New York soft. That's how I be looking at stuff. I look at stuff like that. If y'all ain't doing stuff like that, New York soft. Ain't no way nobody about to convince somebody to pay no $3,500 to stay in no damn jail cell where the goddamn bathroom and the kitchen closet is in the same room and shit. Ain't no way. How y'all get that? How y'all? I got to salute all the Scottish rites and everybody that made y'all build the little red stairs, and I got to salute them. Whatever witchcraft they did, cold. Especially how cold y'all be in New York, but that's cold. Did y'all even complain about the right stuff? And that's cold right there. That's some cold witchcraft. I ain't gonna lie. Shout them out. Red Cross, goddamn it, Scottish, like, shout them out. Whatever they sat around the round time. Can I learn stuff like that? Where the books at? Can I learn that book? Where that book at? I'm tired of reading other books and stuff like that. Sigourney Weaver. Sojourner. What's her name? Sojourner. Martin Luther King. I don't read no book. Real stuff. Get your T-Steam game up. It'll release the toxins and a lot of thoughts y'all be getting. The books y'all like to read that lead y'all to just being practitioners of robbing banks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You release them thoughts. Maybe it'll come out your butt. Maybe it'll come out when you fart or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, the moon. So, you're already going to be feeling. Now, anytime the moon is leading up to the new moon, right? It's like a lead up event. Anytime there's a new moon, full moon, it's a leading up to an event. But they play out in different characteristics. We know pardon me, y'all. We know the full moon leads up during the waxing. Wax on, wax off. Like Mr. Miyagi said or whatever. But that'd be what they considering it. Right? So we got the quarter phases or whatever. But the lead up, look at it like this, right? It's the esoteric holy waters. The esoteric holy waters is would condense and become water. So we know light condense, cloud condense. So it's the same mechanism. When you have a collection of thoughts, it condense and become adrenaline. And when it becomes adrenaline, you take action on those thoughts. Ain't nothing pseudo about that. You have to think and be motivated about something before going for it. If a person ain't motivated on their mind to learn math, they is not gonna have that adrenaline to get up and go for that math. And if they ain't got no care for nothing, they ain't gonna have no adrenaline to go for anything. Or whatever the case may be. So for the most part, we know that's what's actually going on. So when we start to look at the energies itself, I had another point. Let me not miss my point. I had another point because I had a good point. Hold on. Yeah, the moon. All right, so for the most part, when we start to talk about the moon leading up, look at it like this. Since you understand, you have to think, and it bends in, and that's how it comes in this world through your actions. That's an essence too. You can create a situation in the environment and it be an influence in that environment. Let's say you've been thieving a lot and you ain't even in that environment. Word through the grapevine is that there's been thieving going on in this area. There's been slavery going on in this area. There's been tribes going to war in this area. There's been colonists and Indians buried in this area or whatever like that, even when it's not there anymore. All the way to the point y'all pick up these vibes, and we even make monuments and statues in these certain areas that represent it, that for even individuals who haven't been there but still pick up the vibe. I like this part. Well, I pick up the sense of it, whatever the case may be. So look at it like this. What's on your mind is what you're emanating in the world in that same instance, even if you're not taking action on it. If you're spirit in a certain space, then that you emanate a first body, your mind state to represent that space. That's the essence of the energy, like the cloud, the light that's getting ready to condense, and it comes into this world based upon focus. You focus it with other different areas, and you fulfill that area with all the different perspectives when your spirit or your soul was traveling there, and making all those different perspectives of that one direction goal. And now you're able to have your mind make a decision. And that's what you're doing when you're making the decision, but you're bringing it into the world or whatever. All right. So if you're bringing something in the world, but it's the same energy as the moon, or it's not, it's your moon by default, you're still adding on. So for the most part, if you know how to be in alignment, now you know what you're adding on to and what you may be making a mistake and what to be aware of when other people are not in the Holy Spirit or not understanding these things from natural nature without it being seen as religion or however the case may be. You see what I'm saying? So when the moon is waxing, the moon is filling up. Every time you think and then got a collection of those thoughts and it condenses and become a feeling and an emotion, then that feeling and emotion, it becomes blood. That's how we create blood and adrenaline, and that gets you motivated to actually do something. That's you putting energy out And that's it collecting with the teamwork makes the dream work, how we created the whole world in the first place and things of that nature. You create your own mind and body, and teamwork makes the dream work. Our minds connected together create the external world. Then it condenses and become physical. The atmosphere and the physical flesh and the forms and the nature and things of that nature. So every time you take action, if it's in alignment, you're entwined with nature. If it's unalignment, you're getting ready to create mistakes, and you only did it because it was a monetary gain throughout your situation where that energy may have been favor for you to do it more negative than positive, for it to bite you in the butt next moon, the next 3 moons, or the next moon, or the next week, or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? So every time you take action, right, you add that energy to all of the energy, and as a whole, the 2 anchors of the holy clock is the sun and the moon. So when you're doing a lot of energy that don't have anything to do with the moon cycle, you become out of order because it's the spiritual way of doing things selfish. You only care about your own sun and moon, your own awareness, sun, and what you like to react to once you experience what you just emanated as an awareness. Your moon, that's how it looks and how it reacts. Because a person would be like, you got a sun and moon, that don't make no sense. The sun creates awareness for you to see. At nighttime, it's reflective. You go to sleep. So if your breath condense as that light, but it's just seen as see-through because it's your own personal version, right? And then that emanates and it's thought forms. You have thought forms and things of that you are aware. So that'll be a parable to say that's your micro version of what we're considering the sun. And then when you collect it, add multiple thoughts, you start to reflect on it. You're pondering on it. That'll be the moon. You seeing it from that perspective or whatever the case may be. So you have to see it from that. Once you see it there, now that's how you're pushing out energy. So for the most part, when you are pushing out energy, as the moon is waxing, all the energy you do and push out, those thoughts and feelings, is accumulating with the actual moon. And as it fills up, as it becomes fully waxing or whatever the case may be, right, then that is going to lead up to everything that you put in. It's going to play out like that esoteric water in your life as an experience. And then if you're experiencing a high extreme situation or a situation of being unfulfilled, it's due to the fact of you being highly unaligned, but by default still using your energy, the moon, to participate with the whole moon that we are dealing with and reacting and responding to. So you'll be doing your own moon the day you was born and the sign it was in, and be doing squared up events, be doing opposing events. Even when the stars align, the sun or the moon may be in a good favor to you. You take those and boost more of your ego and validation and things of that nature. Now it got you into a situation where now you're moons behind. And when they talk about being moons behind, hold on, y'all. Hold on 1 second. All right. So as the moon full up and things of that nature, right? All that energy come back into your life. It come back into your circumstances and situation. So when you don't understand that, a lot of times when you like read a Bible or you be in certain situations where people call things pseudo, or let's say you're saying like things not going with the you're not entwined with nature, or you're not entwined with the energy, or per se, or however the case. This be what they actually pointing to. But for the most part, you might read, maybe people take it from other people's cultures and stuff like that, and might write it and describe it and stuff like that. And your mind frame may take it in a different way. Your mind frame may take it in a way where it's like, oh, there's some person and there's another situation where this person I can't see is orchestrating the situation or controlling it, where you're not understanding it's a procedure, it's a mechanism. And if you understand each process, if you understand each mechanism, you'll understand like, oh, okay, this is an event. Now you're getting more tapped into the happening of something like that. Now that you see, okay, this is happening and this leads to this, And when this happened, this leads to this. It kind of even taps you into even the way we all can see it or whatever like that. You know, the light must be condensing if you're not seeing it from that perspective. A lot of people may think that's wrong or whatever, but the light condensing and becoming the clouds, then the clouds condense and become the rain and the air, and this is how we get in the atmosphere and the current and things of that nature. But a lot of times people don't see it in that way. So when you understand and you see in certain aspects of life, you know that these things and these traits play out in other areas of life. And if you know how to tie a frame of thought and then try to track it to see how it's playing out in other areas, you will start to see that's inevitable. You'll start to see how it play out in a smaller percentage here, how it play out in a larger percentage there, and therefore now you're starting to keep track of essence, aka where something is derived from. Then let's say you're a person in your regular life and you having multiple experiences and things of that nature. You're able to see it in that same frame of thought, and therefore even if we're not dealing with a cloud condensing and becoming a current, you're able to see how the thought of something condensed and became that current event. And for the most part, whatever current event it is, or whatever situation it is, you will have the frame of thought to know how it's coming to be. Now, if you keep track of that pattern, or however, you will start to see how that's inevitable. And y'all be doing it anyway, even when y'all ain't spiritual or whatever. It's just y'all be going through a lot of situations that Walt Disney may have taught y'all, however the case may be, right? And then for the most part, you will start to learn a certain sequence, and then you'll be like, all right, next time, let me not do that. Next time, let me not get in jail. Next time, let me not, you know what I'm saying? You'll be more into that mind frame. So as long as you in that kind of state, right, that's how you're able to keep track of the psyche, and there may not be no words to explain it, or there may not be no way to physically point to something for someone to be like, oh, that don't make no sense or whatever, but you'll get more better at that too. Once you're in more deep into that energy. Once you're more into that favor, once you're more into that flavor of energy or whatever the case may be. And for the most part, then you won't be so harsh at when you're listening to certain things, especially if it got, for lack of better terms, astrology or astronomy or whatever, and we start to break down certain meanings, you know what is being related and tied to. You know what I'm saying? You know, it ain't just pull it out the fit, because a lot of times you may come across a lot of individuals that use things strictly for their pocket, or use things strictly for because they see it represented in this way. Or they see it expressed in that way. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree. So for the most part, they mimic it based upon it being higher on a percentage scale of whatever outcome it is. Y'all know in today's time, it got money behind it, or it got this behind it. And they're not really tapped into it because it's not attached to their real life in no way. So you'll come across a lot of astrologers or tarot card readers and stuff like that, where the things that it's attached to is not attached to the actual experiences in their life or whatever. So it's like this being that pocket, and then they got their actual life that they deal with their friends, family, or whatever. It's not one, because it's not their culture. So a lot of times when you see a lot of people over here, especially when it comes into a bunch of people doing like with the like Teal Swan, that type of stuff, that's really like a scammer at heart. You're like, where you're on a different land, totally just practicing other people's culture or whatever, but you made it a profit. You made it look like it's something to do, and put it in a mind frame like it's helping others in some type of way. All that come from like Mormons or something like that. Like that really don't exist. You know, it's a made up thing. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be me talking about the sun and moon, but then you'll have somebody talking about, well, this astrology is real, or astrology ain't, or people who in astrology think like this, or where it ain't even about astrology if it's tied to your culture and just what you do and how you go about things beyond whatever is being capitalized about. You see what I'm saying? That's how you know where a lot of pockets and a lot of angles of how people put themselves into a frame of thought to teach or whatever. It's not really based on teaching. It's really based on them trying to keep a roof over their head or whatever. And it's a manuscript of them thinking that was what they were supposed to do, whether they was raised up in an institution of college, or it was their interest or something like that, and it was something already capitalized for them to get it. But that's as far as it goes. It's not genuine or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And none of these, and you'll notice that too when, you know, 90% of these people and what they do it's on the mere basis of strangers. So anytime you see a person standing in front of a whole bunch, like for an example, we online, but everybody attracted to people online because of their creativity and things of that nature, and being a personality. And you get that from your home, your culture, you know what I'm saying, your family, your friends, and things of that nature. So people are interested either into the creativity and where you got it from. That's why people have interviews and stuff like that. They want to know your background. Or you're just a person that's intelligent, but it still come from your backing or whatever. But once we create a situation where we're talking about other people cultures and trying to teach people like you important because you're teaching about other people cultures, and you're not allowing the person from their culture to just be themselves, here's where it gets weird. And you get preachers that could get millions of dollars, and you get Till Swans and stuff like that, right? So you could get Joel Osteen, Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes preaching about a foreigner that we know is a fact from Palestine. Even though if the term Palestine is being used in America, it's just a different term for people, the people over here. But at the same time, we know that it's the term for that, or whatever the case may be. So it wouldn't even make no sense in general to be teaching, allow somebody over there to teach what Jesus is about, or whatever the case may be. How is you way in America teaching about someone else stuff, and you want to be seen as the, and even if you want to claim you don't want to be seen as that way, you show collecting a lot of money for it. Show collecting a lot of money in the name of Jesus Christ, or whatever the case may be. So we got to be real, or whatever the case may be. It's just that type of stuff is petty, because you know I'm an original spirit and a part of the original lineage of this land. So there's a lot of stuff y'all don't even understand anyway. For an example, the Pilot's Town, but the whole concept of, you know, even when it comes to foreigners coming over here and things of that nature, they're making a new version of where they come from, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So that's how y'all get New England. That's how y'all get Jerusalem over here, or the new, or, you know what I'm saying? So when you start getting these terms like Palestine and whatever like that, just back in the day, how it started to get created, well, really like in the late 1800s, was referring to here. So if you hear Palestine, but it's on an American platform, it's talking about, it's just a, I don't know if they doing, I don't know if they think that's witchcraft, or I don't know if they think they rock you all to sleep. I don't know, but it's just for the people here, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, or it should be no business being talked about in America. You know what I'm saying? So anything talked about in America from another country is another word about here. But that's how it used to be spoken about, because each city, each state was considered a country in the 1700s and getting into the mid 1800s. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's more rooted in, other than whatever y'all talking about in today's time. But I think it's about 90% of foreigners here now. But at some point, but when we get into Capricorn, Moon and Capricorn, we're reacting, responding to Cardinal Earth, initiate and create new ways of how to think and be practical. So for the most part, everybody gonna be in some energy of wanting to take charge of their emotional stance on things. And here's where you're gonna start to filter it, and it's gonna look like the sun being in Aquarius. So it's gonna start to look like you seeing if the people you are associated with standing on business, or the people you are associated with destroying your business in some way, shape, or form. So that's what you're gonna be in. You're gonna be in that kind of energy. So for the most part, if you ain't make a lot of right decisions, or if you don't like this kind of energy and you think this is spooky or whatever, right? All right, dude, just play this energy out, and you're gonna see for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see for yourself. A lot of y'all be having extreme hatred for strangers. A lot of y'all be having extreme hatred for people y'all don't know and stuff like that. And I think online made that a thing. You know what I'm saying? So online made it a thing where you get online and try to connect with a total stranger, adult at that, grown woman, grown man, right, and develop some extreme help. That's the reason even weird stuff even exists, where they try to make things cool, like trolling and stuff like that. Which is one of the reasons why, because I talk straight to my people, so that's one of the reasons why I even turned off my chat, because my people were watching, even all of them said the same thing. There's no point into talking to brainless people, or people who choose, I think it's an American thing, or people who choose to participate into lostness, or whatever the case may be. Like, it ain't no point. So right now, everybody, even lost people, even trolls and stuff like that, gonna be going through a time where they're gonna be looking at their associations and stuff like that, and looking at them like the trolling ain't trolling. You know what I'm saying? Or the associations ain't doing the thing right, or whatever the case. And we're gonna be seeing that in business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. If you're in entertainment, you're gonna start looking at your associations, and you're gonna start considering who's standing on business or who's crumbling your business in some way. And you might even start to get a little aggressive to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes into the cardinal energy, that always makes aggressiveness like to bring in new things, right? So a lot of times it's not thinking for others, and it's not fixated on something that's already there, to the point that you can play out that energy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So cardinal signs bring something new into the environment. So the cardinal signs is Capricorn, Libra, Aries, and Cancer. But the moon is in Capricorn, but the moon is debilitated. So your way of initiating a new way of dealing with your emotions, as far as our moon, is going to be filtered through thinking and being practical. So you may do it in a harsh way. You might try to be hard. It might be an emotion that you're dealing with, but your way that you start reacting to it may be a little bit more aggressive now. You might want to act upon it now. There may be a funk that you in, that you want to start expressing to other individuals. You know what I'm saying? You might want to that you ain't did previously, but it's just been something on your heart, but you've been knowing how to deal with it or express it in other ways. But now you're looking at all the other little small things and stuff like that, and it's making you be like, oh, man, F that, or whatever the case. And then it might come out in a more negative way, or however the case, due to the fact of you're taking the emotions more harshly during this particular time. So by the moon being in Capricorn itself, a lot of people are going to be in a funk. Especially trolls. Trolls going to be in a funk. And a lot of people are going to be in a funk. But we're going through a new time now. That troll thing is going to be a thing of the past, because everybody getting seen in real life. So, and all trolls is getting exposed, or already have been, and stuff like that. I seen Doughboy, he seen a troll. He ran up and seen a troll, and things of that nature. Everybody, you know, because it's going through a time right now where it's too many regular people, and it don't matter if you go to school. It don't matter if you got a job. It don't matter if you're in the military. It don't matter where you at. You next to somebody relative. Because, you know, America is small now and things like that. So, like, everybody had to do everything. And so, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like that. Everybody know everybody in some type of way. In some type of way. But when it comes into, that's what everybody going to be aware about during this particular time with the sun being in Aquarius. That's what the moon is making people react or respond. Is that stable or not? Right? Can you lead this or not? Or is it someone else that can help fulfill that? Is it someone else you can build with? Or whatever you doing, can you build on that? You know what I'm saying? And is you associated with the right people, places, and things? That's going to be the whole energy during this particular time when it comes into the people that you deal with. Or you got your 1-2 together? You know, the whole energy is going to be about, is you associated with the right frame of thought? Is you associated with the right people, or however the case? And where is this going? And that's going to lead up to the new moon being in Aquarius. And then we're going to talk about that separately, but for the most part, when that time comes. But it's going to force you to look at your associations to see these things of that nature. Now, let's say you don't believe in this, or however the case, right? You're going to have to explain. Start keeping track. That's why I'm going to put this up there. I'm going to do it for every specific zodiac sign, too, on the Patreon, I have the case. But start keeping track. You know what I'm saying? And look at your actual surrounding. And then start to take this in consideration, right? And I guarantee only space I put you in was knowing how to read energy or whatever. So now you know how to read whatever they call it, read the room or whatever, because this is what we all trying to do anyway. It's just people like to do it in little small, soft ways. And then in ways that seem like it's normal, that everybody else think that's all they did. But your mind is magic. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is magic. When you think, that's a magic trick. That's what we call it, magic. It's just when you over exaggerated someone and got over someone else for so long, it been written in a lot of books or whatever, the familiarity percentage scale is so high or whatever, then you use your magic, you use your intelligence, you use your mind for things it wasn't used to be made for and stuff like that. So y'all get into more ego-based scenarios. Y'all get into more ego-based scenarios. I'll never click this on tight. Y'all get into ego-based scenarios amongst each other. And then for the most part, once y'all do that, then you only use your intelligence for tit for tat. You only use your intelligence for you only use your intelligence for tit for tat matters. You only use your intelligence for getting over someone else or trying to convince yourself that this person didn't get over. What the hell is wrong with this? Or try to convince this person who you felt got over didn't get over to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? So you only become intelligence for your biases. You only become intelligence for things that you want to go in your favor. And then that only varies when that goes less than a percentage scale, because it need other people involved, and other people be having their own things going on. Other people be having their own situation. So a lot of times, if you're not in a situation of creating a balance and you can help a person and they can help you, this is where a lot of y'all relationships be getting faulty at and stuff, because one person start to think this person ain't doing everything that I got this person around for, and vice versa. This person start thinking this person not doing everything they was doing to attract me, or whatever the case may be. And then y'all start to drift. And then a lot of times y'all deal with that in y'all relationships too. That's why y'all reach one of them forks in the road within y'all relationships, where homegirls start being like, well, you're not doing the things, and she start describing a whole bunch of things that based on the first 2 weeks you was doing to get her or whatever. And then you start saying, well, you ain't cooking the same or whatever the case, aka based on half of the things that she started doing after she got comfortable, whatever you did, then she slowed down doing it after a while. So you start justifying, you start thinking that she's cheating even when she's not. She starts saying things to you or whatever the case, and y'all start bothering each other more than anything. So everything else start to water down. The sex start to water down. The things that y'all was creating together start to water down. Y'all start to not care about that as much. Y'all probably share bills, and the tit for tat is leading y'all to not even have both ends of the stick at certain times, or the date that the bill need to be paid based upon whatever else that y'all start dealing with. And boom, that's the end of the relationship. Y'all just built some unhealthy stuff due to the fact of not even knowing what y'all was doing. But when it comes into the mind itself, the mind is magic, right? So when you're coming up with a thought, or you're coming up with an imagination, that's what the magic is. Now, how well you're able to root it in reality, how well you're able to construct it, how well you're able to manuscript it, or whatever the case may be, that's when it becomes productible. That's when it becomes your adrenaline. That's when it becomes your movement. That's when it becomes your actions. That's when it becomes how you could be seen. And a lot of y'all be in that space and take the actions to just be seen as a person who need a straitjacket. A lot of times, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just being a weird energy. You know what I'm saying? You just need a straitjacket, especially when it comes to the trolls online. Though I can't believe I even still be seeing that. I don't see it as much still on other people's pages. I see it on my page or whatever the case may be. So I guess the little nature boy CIA psyop thingy, I guess they still pan them or something like that or whatever the case. You know, I don't. Well, I don't even really look at my comments or whatever the case may be, but that's why I cut the chat off, whatever. But other than that, they probably I guarantee they probably still in the comments stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I just be having lawyers look at it. You know what I'm saying? What I do is I cuss one of them out in reality that don't think I know that they're actual troll or whatever, and then just sit back and watch them do damage control or whatever the case may be, or whatever. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then point my lawyer to that one too. You know what I'm saying? I get as much money as I can. As much money as I can. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of weird stuff going on, a lot of weird hatred, strangers and stuff like that. You know, I get a lot of hate, you know what I'm saying? Even more than in my real life. But I get online and I just be seeing like crash out, right? So let's say if I was in these type of things, right? if anything, I do stuff like that to people that talk stupid all day and jail and all that stuff, which ain't nothing wrong with all that stuff and things of that nature, but it be people online actually doing things that involve RICO charges and crash out and telling on themselves and actually doing crimes and stuff. But I get online, I get the most hate from people that ain't even in my age group, like low-key kids. So I deserve millions for that. You know what I'm saying? You don't send no espionage, no 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and I'm a grown-ass man. The hell y'all doing? And then trying to mess up my money too, because that's why I take that out. Like, this page just got demon. I can't even get my Archangel Uriel page back or whatever. But that's like trying to mess up my money. Like, I don't know y'all. Y'all like strangers. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, what kind of practice is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? I need all that money back. Like, look, y'all, it was one time I got an Airbnb in New York, right? And all these funky chicks came. There was all espionage as honey traps, right? They act like I didn't know. I be putting things to the test. I'm like, let me see if this person want to be in the video or not. These are things that the holy ones teach us, and my people said keep track of and stuff like that, and they gonna keep track of it also or whatever. And I'm on live, and yeah, for all my family and everybody who was watching, my friends and stuff like that, right? The same people in back of me, there's like 3-4 chicks in back of me trolling me with all the dudes while around me. But see, I have to plan things right. Do you want money or you want to crash out? You know what I'm saying? This things we work on, because I come from a poor family. I don't come from no and I'm from the hood. I'm in the hood now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to get it. Everybody got to get it. Everybody figuring out a way to get the chicken though. That's against the law in every capacity. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts around that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta like think about that type of stuff. Like, I don't know, people just happy-go-lucky, and that's why I look at that being a failure of what's going on in America right now as a whole. Like, stuff like that. Like, so, you know, when you come from the hood, and it's a lot of people that know you and stuff like that. I know, like, got kids, and people trying to do the same thing I'm doing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that has to be known, apparent. You know what I'm saying? Faces has to be known and apparent, and you got to know what you're dealing with before you get on stuff or whatever the case may be, because we protect each other. You know what I'm saying? The people protect each other, or however the case may be. So you can't just have stuff like that, and you got people you know involved too and stuff like that. They have to know, everybody have to know, or whatever the case. So it can't be no weirdness going on and stuff like that based upon whatever this new online and what they trying to make cool is. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's for all the content creators out there and all up and coming kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When it comes into you and yours and your family or whatever, these are real things or real circumstances or whatever. Hopefully you ain't a kid and you are a grown man, so you know how, or a grown woman, so you know how to do things in the right way and substantiate it and maximize the fullness of it. You know what I'm saying? However the case may be, because there's a lot of people, especially from the hood or whatever, that not even just things like that, the littlest things just crash out or whatever, especially when it comes to like little 15-year-olds, not just around here, everywhere, 16-year-olds, and the things that they're involved in to get a stain or to get a name or whatever the case. Like, you just can't be no person with a different license plate and you just posting somewhere and you got something on your mind and you way out of bounds and you got a whole different city and state license plate. You'll get left asleep by a 15-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, with these little cats being too, and stuff that you learn from everybody else or whatever the case may be. You just can't just be somewhere You just look weird, you're unfamiliar, or whatever the case may be. Like, you got 17, 16-year-olds right now that plot daily on, we're going outside to see any license plate that look like it's from somewhere else, and it don't say Ohio, it don't say on here, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? A whole mission and possible setup Call of Duty circumstance. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'd be like, I don't understand people. You know what I'm saying? It get weird. It get really weird in today's time and stuff like that. But the things you gotta do just for you to be you and how you be in the hood or whatever. That's why it's like everybody should just stay their way. You know what I'm saying? Go about their business. But at the same time, it's a sticky world, and Capricorn make things harsh for everybody. So you just need to make sure that, we almost hour. Make sure that you react and responding about your business, reacting and responding about what you building, and make sure that you filtering through your associations and how you conduct yourself in the public arena and how you associate yourself with stuff. Because for the most part, once the new moon go in there and you ain't evaluating things right now and you ain't seeing what's going on, for the most part, you might be thinking what you are associated with is standing on business. And then there's going to be some responsibilities there that haven't been taken care of. And now you're going to be trying to figure out, should you reevaluate your circle? Should you reevaluate who you around? Should you reevaluate who you dealing with, or however the case? But your actions and how you go about doing it may be a little bit more negative than they actually needs to be. So that's all I'm warning people right now when it comes into the moon being in Capricorn, and it's getting ready to be the new moon in Aquarius, or however the case may be. Your overreactionary energy or your ability to try to get things together when it comes to your associations. And if they, for an example, you might be one of those type of individuals. Let's say you got a career, right? And you kind of modest a little bit. So that's like you have people around you that gave you that energy that you can allow them to fully take control over certain areas or whatever. Yet there was plenty of times you can be like, I made a mistake. Let me take charge of that next time, or however, right? Now, there may be times after that they have done it right. But those instances and how you felt, right? Those going to be the energies that you start to overemphasize. And if you don't check it, it might be an action you take being in that state of mind that may rub somebody the wrong way, or whatever the case may be, because you're coming across too harsh, or you're coming across too demanding, or you're coming across too controlling. You know what I'm saying? So it could be those type of energies going on. And that's what y'all need to understand too. The world is created with the feeling. So when it comes into the feeling, right, this is what you be trying to be in search of. How do you create a feeling? By a collection of thoughts and ideas. What represent a collection of thoughts and ideas? Certain spiritual spaces you be in. You could be in what we so call a negative space, if you want to generalize things. So you only know how to develop the negative awarenesses of what we're calling thoughts. Then if you collect too much of them, you start to imagine this, then create another version and add it onto it and start to imagine that. Now you got all those thoughts. It condense and become a feeling and an emotion. Now it's a vision. It's something that's making you react and respond to it. Your spirit can taste it. Your spirit is touching it. Your spirit created a fruit. Now, there have been many spaces you've been in where you created incredible fruit. And there may have been many spaces you've been in where you created negative fruit. But if you know that procedure, you'll know how to keep track of it, and you'll get better of it with your mental muscle, your first body, or however the case may be. Then you'll start to see it's spaces you be in that derive as certain mentalities before we started to construct it through the physical and called it words with our vocal cords and things of that nature. So when it comes into a person knowing everything, you have to look at it in that same instance. Who told you you didn't know everything? You do know everything, right? Let's say you came across something that was a new experience to you and you claim you didn't know it. That's just based off frame of thought because we're utilizing language. But you always gonna know something. In all actuality, you knew you didn't know what was going on. You see what I'm saying? So you know, you always know. So when you're developing experiences, y'all tie that on to intelligence. So then y'all start to call an experience intelligence, and then develop conveniences from an experience, and then call it technology once you start to call it advancement, or however the case may be. And then for the most part, this is where y'all get lost a lot of times, because really when you're developing, you know everything. You just get lost in words. Nobody told you didn't know. You know you thinking. If you are aware of something that's a new experience for you, you know that's a new experience, or whatever the case may be. So you're going through a development of a know-how based upon being in a scenario of a lack of know-how. If you know that's what's going on, you're able to be more aware of the situation, not being in two layers of the situation, having to experience it, and then have these thoughts as you're coming across the correct way to individuals who may have a know-how better in that arena. So now you got this weird peer pressure of, am I doing it right? And also having to experience it to develop your comprehension. And you're also able to add both scenarios to develop your comprehension, but it still come with a lacking where you could have just been in that scenario with pure development of comprehension, regardless of how you looked or how you were seen. This plays out in a situation where it dissolves the ego, even if you're in a classroom and you don't care to raise your hand and ask, other than the other person who just want to look cool and things of that nature. Because your mind is in a different frame of it. To make it simple for y'all to want to say, oh, we're getting out there or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about the psyche. What make you do what you do? You see what I'm saying? Or whatever the case. And that's also, if you're a content creator, get into this type of intellect, you know how to spot trolls and things of that nature, or whatever the case. So it's easy, even if you want to spot a troll. Let's say you're a rapper, singer, actor, actress, or whatever like that, right? First of all, a troll is someone who actually know you, or if they're a stranger, they were paid to do that to you, especially if it's based upon the time frame or whatever the case may be, for specific reasons that if you look at what you're doing and could look at someone else's lost belief, you could make it make sense. Right? Now, let's say if you're a celebrity and you do got a troll that's a stranger, that they got bills. It's only going to be so long until their actual life kick in, or whatever the case may be. And that goes for the troll and the supporter of the individual. A supporter, every now and then, drift off and then come back. A troll, drift off or find someone else to troll after they drift off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They only got two hands or whatever. So if it's a team, it's always going to be people who know you. If you're a celebrity, they're part of the industry. Or if you're online right now, it's just part of a new psyop and they crashing out in ways that they never did before by utilizing it online with regular people, right? Now, to know who they are for real, it's a lot of different other ways or whatever the case may be. But all you got to do is know what you do and what's your interest. See what the troll is, even if you go to the troll pages and they have common interests. And then put your focus on the people that you tied to, that's part of your team or whatever the case may be. And you will start seeing synchronicities. You start seeing them post the same thing. You'll start seeing them do the same thing or whatever the case may be. Then all you have to do is create certain, when people do witchcraft, they open themselves up to it. So when people start playing with emotions and stuff, then that's when you start doing it, whether you're aligned in reality or not, right? Because you know certain emotions, you could play out certain actions from that emotion that has no choice but to get that reaction. So if you put yourself in a different space, the space amongst your troll, and create a delusion there, and then self-mimic whatever that they think they're doing, or whatever the case may be, then everybody self-project. You put every spirit in a self-project. So a tool of self-projecting can't even be used at that point. It's just self-projection without the tool. You know what I'm saying? Because you came in the same light or the same emotion and expressed in the favor of whatever made the troll have the upper hand, or whatever the case may be. So anytime you put a spirit in that space, beyond even trying to discover trolls, anytime you put a spirit in their spring and summertime and they get validation, no matter they're doing it in a synthetic way or the genuine way, and they're the best sports person or whatever in their family or whatever the case, it boosts up. We always see things become open. A spirit don't know how to do anything else or whatever. You just have to be spiritually intelligent to know how to look at life like this, though. You know what I'm saying? So start getting attached and connect with me if you need to. As an, you know what I'm saying? I get you tapped into some indigenous spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, boom. Once that light and you add, you know, it's synthetic, so you add your version of it to it, it becomes more open. So all the spirits in it, or the individual spirit in it, right, start to give all their presents, all their gifts. And it's up to you how much you just want to collect. No, I'm saying it's just up to you or whatever, and things like that. Whether you want to collect to it reach a point, no ifs, ands, buts about it, or you just want to show it as an ego to show whatever that thing doing or group of things doing that it really ain't doing anything, is just really crashing out or whatever the case may be. Or however, but it's however you want to. But for the most part, that's the way the world works when you're looking at it for life. When you deal with actual people, and actual people have to deal with you. So anything foreign, that means stranger. You have no choice but to see it in that magnitude. It's just when you're a celebrity, it's your job to deal with strangers. So you don't have a regular life like that to be grounded enough to, even if you don't know what's going on, still think something's weird. See what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons how that type of psyop is crashing out when it's being used online and stuff like that. Because online is full of people with regular lives. So when a psyop that only supposed to work for a celebrity that has to do these things is being done on a platform that deals with people with regular lives, that's where it gets weird. Because everybody that's involved with the person, let's say a content creator, in their real life, because ain't nobody, can't nobody just get up and go like how celebrities go or whatever, right? Everybody has to look at it like that, because ain't nobody in no celebrity team where you go to Jimmy Iovine, you got this, that, and the third. So you and your people in your hood or your friends or who your little team, wherever you came with, your gang is your engineers or whatever. So it's almost like all y'all getting threatened by something that's looked foreign. It's like, we doing this, where is this coming from? Like, I know I'm online, but this is something that's just only coming through the lens of a message and strangers and people from different cities and states, and it ain't about no business. So why is it attaching it to the energy of it? You know what I'm saying? And that's where it fell online. Because I guess what blurred the lines is because I guess we personalities. So people don't see it as the same thing of people trying to get on, whether they're a musician or whatever. And a lot of us do music or whatever, and every other thing, direct and all that. So it's still the same thing. But I don't know if they playing a game or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. But that's when it seems it gets weird. And we need to start using technology and stuff for better stuff, not lying and having everybody from the hood, that, especially watching my page, everybody from the hood and everybody who watch me and stuff, just to sit up here, and even to see y'all who watching me right now, all y'all little trolls and stuff, that was so-called calling yourselves soul group. Y'all using AI and stuff like that to bring up characters when I go live and stuff, and how y'all be in my chat and be the same people trying to be the supporter and then go to your fake page and then hate too. And it's like you show me, everybody who watch me and everybody who know me, but also other content creators, that this is what y'all on, not what y'all was trying to do. This infiltrate people personally or whatever in y'all own specific ways and in all these little different institutions or whatever. But that's the make it plain and simple online. Now, I don't want y'all thinking I'm somebody, the only person online think like this. No, this is one of the reasons why there's a lot of people who start restraining to not get online and start calling being a content creator corny again and stuff like that. And like it's more real people in life than what y'all little small pocket of people doing online, just really setting yourselves up to separate yourselves from real life. You know what I'm saying? So don't let online get to y'all head. We not in that type of time. But be actual people. But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight mode, but you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Atari's Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to I got duties and responsibilities. Erector Swah, Yo Ho Dai Yalla Who, Master Soet, Mama Natoet. Hee hee, woo, Master Saki.